The movie starts with a big disaster. Tall buildings that once touched the sky crumble down, turning a peaceful city into a pile of rubble in no time. This chaos is caused by unusual plants that are not like ordinary ones. They are huge, aggressive, and grow frighteningly fast, taking over 80% of the land within a week. These plants are a danger to people and animals alike. Fast forward 2 years, and we meet a little girl named Yuan near a forest. In this world, it seems like there are forests everywhere. Yuan is having fun playing with her dog as the sun sets. Her dad, Yang, suddenly rushes over to take her back home because it's very risky to be outside at night. But when her dog runs deeper into the forest, Yuan ignores her dad's warning and goes after it. Yang has no choice but to follow his determined daughter. As the dog had already darted off into the forest, Yuan ventured deeper into the woods and encountered a truly terrifying sight. There, she came face to face with a monstrous plant. It had vines clustered together, pulsating like a beating heart, surrounded by the lifeless forms of humans hanging from thick, tentacle-like vines. Sensing Yuan's presence, the vines grew alert, opening their menacing mouths to attack her. Fortunately, just in the nick of time, Yang arrived to rescue his daughter. He swiftly scooped her up into his arms and sprinted through the forest, not stopping until they reached the safety of their own home. Only after locking all the doors and activating UV lights, which seemed to keep the plants at bay, did Yang finally catch his breath. Yuan couldn't help but feel guilty for causing trouble for her father, but Yang reassured her that she was a good girl. Before tucking her into bed, he discreetly installed a tracker on her wristwatch, ensuring her safety. As he lovingly sang her a birthday song, Yuan drifted off to sleep. That night, as Yang rested at his work table, he dreamt of the past, a memory of himself, his deceased wife, and a young Yuan sitting inside their car during a traffic jam. Yang's wife was a scientist working on a special project to create stronger plants that could fight against desertification. Her laptop suddenly played an emergency video call from a coworker who warned them about dangerous plants. People around them began to panic, and everyone rushed out of their cars. Yang joined them to see what was happening, but it was already too late. The violent plants had started their attack. In the middle of the night, Yang was awakened by a frantic call from Yuan on her screen, asking for help. He dashed to her room, which was filled with bright UV sunlight, hoping it would keep the plants away. Sadly, the vines reached out and grabbed her entire bed, pulling it down through a hole in the floor, making Yuan disappear right before his eyes. Desperate to find his daughter, Yang remembered the tracker he had placed on her watch the night before. Without wasting a moment, he packed his bag and rushed out of his house, venturing into the deserted city in search of Yuan. The tracker led Yang to an old research building where he quickly found his daughter safe in a room. However, her UV flashlight, which kept the dangerous plants away, was running out of power. These menacing plants were getting closer and closer to her. Yang handed her his flashlight and bravely fought off the plants that were rushing towards him. In a desperate struggle, he managed to break a window, letting sunlight flood into the room. This time, the sunlight worked, making the plants that couldn't handle photosynthesis retreat and disappear. While Yang's group reminisced about the past, the vines sneakily returned from the shadows and wrapped around his body, now bathed in direct sunlight. Johan tried to help, but her childlike strength wasn't enough. Just as panic set in, a sharp blade sliced through the vines, freeing Yang. A small team of soldiers arrived and started battling the relentless plants. Their guns and flamethrowers weren't very effective, but they had UV lights and a mysterious sword that proved to be more powerful against the stubborn plant threat. Among the soldiers, one of them struggled with a UV device, unable to make it work. Yang, having regained consciousness after his encounter with the floor, rushed in to assist. With his expertise, he quickly repaired the machine. When the UV light shone brightly, all the aggressive plants ceased their attacks and retreated into the shadows. Once the site was calm again, the soldiers explained the dire situation. These plants had evolved to form a vast global network underground, posing a threat that could lead to another catastrophic event in just 2 days. The soldiers were part of the joint forces, dispatched to locate a device that could sedate all the plants, ultimately saving humanity. They revealed that the building they were in had once been a research center, which held clues to their mission. The soldiers wasted no time and quickly located the reagent device. They established contact with headquarters, and their mission was clear: take the reagent to a launch station and administer it to the underground plant roots simultaneously with the other 140 devices scattered worldwide. However, Yang harbored doubts about the plan, and as he expressed his skepticism, a sneaky vine emerged from below the floor, destroying the UV device. Darkness engulfed them as they grappled with the enemy. After a fierce struggle, they managed to create some openings in the room, allowing sunlight to stream in. Yang discovered that he and his daughter were separated from most of the other soldiers. While he and Yuan were unscathed, the same couldn't be said for the troop's captain. The female soldier, Limo, did her best to staunch the captain's bleeding, but a large snake-like vine slithered into the room, searching for its prey. Yang picked up a metal rod, ready to confront the creature, but Limo stopped him. The plant appeared to be blind and primarily reacted to sound. With utmost silence, they cautiously picked up the reagent, attempting to escape. However, in a moment of unfortunate carelessness, Yuan accidentally bumped into a shelf, alerting the plant to their presence. It swiftly swooped in to attack her. Limo and Yang rushed to protect Yuan, but the plant proved too formidable to be overcome by their physical strength alone. In a bold move, the captain sprang into action, aiming his gun at the plant, but his shots caused no harm. The plant, now focused on the captain, coiled around his body. Despite Limo's frantic efforts to help, it was too late. The captain unpinned a grenade and sacrificed himself to obliterate the plant. The explosion catapulted the remaining 3 out of the building and onto the street, where they regrouped with the rest of the soldiers. Though they were relieved to have the reagent, it came at the tragic cost of their captain's life, leaving the soldiers somber. Additionally, their engineer had also been lost in the attack. Recognizing Yang's technological expertise, they turned to him for help, as he had displayed an understanding of the equipment while operating the UV light. Yang remained resolute in his refusal to join the mission, prioritizing the safety of his daughter above all else. He was unconcerned about the fate of the world. However, Yuan held a different perspective. She was determined to save the world, believing it was something her late mother would have done. Yang couldn't argue with her conviction, so the father-daughter duo decided to follow the soldiers and participate in the mission. As they moved through the city, they received a distress signal from another team, hearing only the words "green tide" before the ground began to fracture. Knee of the colossal building started to crumble, prompting the group to race in the opposite direction for cover. Just as they narrowly escaped, the green tide struck. An enormous wave of skyscraper-sized plants burst forth from the ground, crushing everything in its path and reducing the city to rubble. This was only the beginning of the impending catastrophe. 56 hours later, the group found themselves on a blocked road with no safe haven left to flee to. With the green tide closing in at full speed, the group had to navigate a perilous path, leaping over sinkholes and dodging the menacing vines. They managed to reach the safety of a bus just in the nick of time. However, as the tide reached them, the bus was violently rolled over and flung about until it crashed into a building. Miraculously, the passengers inside the bus survived, and the vehicle remained in relatively good condition. Tragically, those left outside fell victim to the green tide. As the plant seemed to calm down, it became evident that the full catastrophe was imminent and might occur sooner than the predicted 56 hours. To relay this critical information, they attempted to contact headquarters but discovered that they had lost signal. Yang identified a potential solution to this problem: the signal tower located right in front of their building. It was a narrow metal tower that had somehow become wedged between 2 buildings, acting as a bridge connecting them. While the makeshift bridge was unsteady and treacherous, they had no other choice but to cross it. As the group carefully made their way across the flimsy bridge, fully aware of its precarious nature, a nearby building suddenly crumbled. They narrowly avoided being hit, but the powerful air blast from the collapse sent Yuan teetering off the bridge. Acting swiftly, the new captain of the team jumped down to save her, dangling from a rope. Yang acted just as fast, grabbing the rope to assist, but it quickly became apparent that the frayed rope couldn't support the weight of both of them. With great courage, the captain made a difficult decision. He tied the rope to Yuan and sacrificed himself to save her life, leaving Limo in charge of the operation. Yang managed to pull his daughter back up just in time, as the bridge was on the brink of collapse. The soldiers rushed ahead and entered the building, while Yang and his daughter barely escaped before the bridge gave way. By some stroke of luck, the group managed to operate the old signal tower with Yang's help. Limo immediately contacted their commander, and the group was connected to a network linking them with the other 140 groups stationed at their respective headquarters. All the individuals in the network received shocking information. The high tide will come 52 hours sooner than expected, making the second catastrophe just 4 hours away. The underground root system that was supposed to be attacked is now protected by a shield. The original plan of using a special substance in 141 different areas has been cancelled. Now, they must find one spot in the shield to break through and make the root system collapse. Unfortunately, there isn't an obvious weak point to target. Many people have died, making it difficult to give up on the mission. Despite this, some brave soldiers move forward with new hope and determination after a motivating speech. Surprisingly, all 141 groups worldwide decide to continue their mission, even though there's only a 0.3% chance of success. Lima and her team reach the launch station, swiftly initiating the system. They place the reagent carefully inside the machine, intending to drill it into the root system. However, their plans hit a snag when another green tide rapidly approached. The protective membrane, as reported by headquarters, blocked the reagent. Simultaneously, groups worldwide faced the same issue. None of their reagents could penetrate the barrier. Amidst the soldiers' dwindling hope, Yang proposed a solution. The launch station drew its electricity from the volcano's geothermal energy. What if they blocked all the magma tunnels? This would force the magma to concentrate at one point, enabling it to melt through the barrier effortlessly. There was a catch, though. The tunnel's connection had been severed. They had to descend themselves and destroy the tunnel control system. Yang's technical expertise is crucial for operating the control system. Despite the dangers, he assures his daughter of his return and ventures underground with Lima and another soldier. The underground environment is scorching due to the magma, and their path is further obstructed by plants that have taken root inside the tunnels. In their struggle to advance, Yang is injured, and the other soldier sacrifices his life to clear the way by blasting the plants. Grieving is a luxury they can't afford, so Lima and Yang press on, determined to complete their mission. Along the way, they encounter a gate. Yang, realizing the gravity of their situation, instructs Lima to find something to pry it open. As she searches, Yang, despite his injured leg, takes the explosive and locks the door behind him. Lima comprehends his plan and pleads with him to open the gate, but Yang remains resolute. He urges her to take care of Yuan, his daughter, and moves forward, ignoring Lima's desperate cries. Outside, the ground begins to crumble as large branches and vines sprout, signaling the onset of the second catastrophe. Amidst the world's paralyzed acceptance of their fate, Yang persists, dragging his injured body forward. Despite the crumbling ceiling and debris crashing down, he refuses to yield. Eventually, unable to walk, he crawls toward the control system, carrying the explosive with him. With immense effort, he manages to contact the group of soldiers above ground. Yuan, his daughter, cries out for him to return as the timer of the explosive reaches 0. A deafening blast echoes through the tunnels. The magma swiftly concentrates into a single spot, bursting through and incinerating the plants that formed the membrane. This breakthrough allows the launcher to inject the reagent into the root system. Soon, the colossal plants that had overrun the Earth wither away one by one as the reagent takes effect. People across the globe celebrate as humanity is given a new chance. The world might not recognize the name of the man who saved it, but Yuan comprehends the magnitude of her father's sacrifice. And with that, the movie concludes. Thank you for watching this recap.